Namaste, and welcome to TRC, the Renaissance Chronicles, where truth is shared to bring life and light to the dark areas of our lives, healing us all in His name.
Welcome to the Renaissance Chronicles with your host and your advisor, Renaissance Christos. Glad to be a part of this moment with you and as we enjoy the TRE, the Renaissance experience, sharing the good life. And the total objective of what we're doing here is for one purpose and one purpose only. For those who are trying to figure out whether a church is going to help you get situated or spirituality is going to get you foundational, whatever it is you're going through, my little deal is to help us all find a balance. And as this was a show that was given to me and placed on my heart probably about a month ago, it finally came to fruition during this time, and I'm so glad for the season that I've been going through, not only in my life, but around the other people that I have been sharing with, and they've been sharing with me likewise. And the topic of this show is something that I think we all can understand and try to achieve, because once you master it, everything else fades away. And the good life is all yours. That's right, the good thoughts, good words, followed by good deeds. That's greatness, overcoming obstacles daily. Today's show is called Masterpiece to Masterpiece. And it was a song that I shared with you, and I usually don't promote a lot of things, but this guy made a song, and it's called Masterpiece by Jonathan Traylor. I think that's his name. And go watch the video and just listen to the song as he ministers in a way where it's a new inspiration, not like the old worship songs, but still a very impactful and powerful piece that I think you'd all enjoy. And masterpiece to masterpiece, where are we going with this Renaissance? Because it's a trait that I had to explore myself, but in order for me to go there, I had to go through a tragedy, a personal one. Meaning I went through it. I would like to say my family member who is going through something right now, but I pray that they master peace so they can become a masterpiece. Because our Creator, whatever name you choose to use or however, they created us to master peace. Because the first verse in our topic of study, it came from Philippians 4:7. And when I started to read it, I thought about you and what we all go through. And it says that Paul was writing, and the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. And I was like, okay, I've heard that in many sermons and many church services before. And I read the verses prior to it. And I knew it said, don't be anxious and nothing. So I was with it. It's like, yo, the God of peace gonna help you. And I was like, break it down for us for a second. And as a teacher, we taught these things called STEMs, which are basically etymology. That's a fancy word for, we broke down the context of a word so we could better extract the language. My whole goal as a teacher was to teach my students to understand language. Therefore, anything or any subject became something that they could acquire. And it actually worked. And it's time for us now, for me to help us. Family, this is not about just me. I'll share some stories within this chronicle of individuals that I have been a part of. And the thing is, please focus on them, not me. I was just in the moment. And that's why last show, the RPMs, revolutions per moment, yeah, keep them going, all right? But when he says the peace of God, which transcends was a word that trans means across and sends means direction. And it means transcends all understanding. Okay, right, that means it won't make sense. It'll go past what in our earthly realm or what we've been taught in our college classes or high school classes or wherever you learned your information, it'll go past that and you'll be able to stand under it and be safe. Slow it down, okay? Transcends all understanding, the peace of God, and it will guard your hearts, which is your core, and it'll guard your minds, which is a secret place. That's where he wants to dwell and spend time. So that's where you gain the peace, and it works. And I'll give you some strategies throughout this chronicle that you can actually use. I'm not here to be like some guy who gets in front of a pulpit and says, well, this is how I interpret it. Let me tell you some practical ways, because you can gain heaven on earth now. They told us you gotta wait till the sweet by and by. No, it said you can gain heaven on earth now. It told us that, but here's our movement for mastering peace. And as we master peace, I was wondering, what else does peace do for you? Because peace seems kind of a quiet attribute. It sounds calm and serene. But then I read about the defense, and it came from David. And David, he got kind of busy. He was a man who was after God's own heart. So he had to master peace, because that's what he was going after. But David was going through some things with his soldiers, and David went out to meet them. 1 Chronicles 12 and 17. And he said, if you have come to me in peace to help me, I'm ready for you to join me. Pause. Before, here's that little English thing keep coming out. The word if. If is I studied it. It's a conjunction. I said a conjunction, but people use it at the beginning of a sentence. I said, so if is a conditional clause. Okay. I'm not trying to do English, but conditional clause, that means the thing that comes behind the if is a statement that says, when these things happen in these conditions, these things will occur. Got it? You get up, you go to work, 40 hours, you get a check. You pay your bills, may not be all of them, you keep going back to work, you keep doing it. Are you having peace, or you keep figuring out how I'm gonna pay my bills? See, the peace of God that transcends all understanding, this is what David was talking about. He said, if you come to me in peace, come on, I'll join you. But if you come to me to betray me to my enemies, when my hands are free from violence, may the God of our ancestors see it and judge you. See, this is what the end of the show is going to hit, that point about that if you walk in this peace of God and you come, we can join. But if you're not, and the notes that I wrote was that these are the people who, when they come around, my grandmother said it like this: any dog who will bring a bone will carry a bone. And I started thinking about the little dogs, and I was like, well, that's how we had, when I was cutting the grass, had all them crack with the lawnmower. I was like, all them bones in the yard. But the statement really was saying that when people who gossip and share information, who try to disturb peace, take that with you, they're going to take some other thing someplace else and continue on. And if you hold on to that bone, guess what you have? You don't have peace. You have that disturbance. You have that confusion. You have that animosity in your life because you have allowed it to come in. So if you come in peace, come on, let's rock out. If you're not, it's all good. I know who you are. Stay there. We good. Still love you, but you rocking in another lane. See, we got to get to that point, family, where we got to let people go. At my job, I'm a friendly person. Man, I love being with people. I've been to shows hosting thousands of people. So I love people. So that's not it. But when I'm there in that situation, in that environment, it's about business first, because there's something I need to get done. There's an assignment that needs to be completed, and I don't have time to be kind of meandering around just kind of halfway doing it. I'm going to do it, get it done, and move on. But it's because I've learned to master peace. And when I give you this strategy that I did for 7 years, family, I said 7 years consecutively. And I'll tell you what prompted it. But this is how you master peace. That's why now, I'm debt free personally. I'm okay. I haven't been this way in, 40-some years. So it's a great place to be in, but I had to learn how to master peace. But in order to master peace, you got to master the storm. Oh, Renaissance, why would you say something like that? Because in order to master peace, you gotta be able to go through the storm while it's happening and still have peace. in the storm and still have peace? Well, that goes to the part about fellowship. So as we continue on with the Renaissance Chronicles, when you fellowship, you get out of that chaos, and the why goes to Matthew 7 and 9. It said, blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. You ever seen those people who always seem to be calm, never seem to be wavered or worried, and all chaos is going on around us, but they always seem to be just like calm? Family, they've learned to master peace, and we still have to go through things to master peace, but when we go through the storm, it doesn't even bother. It doesn't even transcend our understanding, because see, we stand under peace, so it happens and we move on. That's what this show is about, giving you momentum so we can start to get those revolutions going, because I need you to get those revelations, and you can share this chronicle, and you can share your version and your words, and begin to shortly inspire people, and just by being there and you master peace. You know, this week, brother, he left the job yesterday, was the last day, and we met probably 2 days prior to that. In fact, we met Friday. But I'd seen him for like 2.5 months going to work, and he was in another department, but we ended up passing each other and kind of nodded head as men do sometimes. But we actually stopped, and he was telling me about a new opportunity he had, less money. I'm thinking, wow. But it was the necessity of what he was going to do. And I was like, he's not chasing money, he's chasing peace. And when he's chasing peace, he's able to bring an understanding to those who are around him. And his brother, Anzel, I just want to shout him out real quick that I'm glad I met the brother. And the thing about it was, when we met, our spirits instantly collided with a beautiful love energy that we knew went beyond that job. We've been there for 2.5 months not talking to each other. But when you master peace, those who are around you who have also mastered peace will come into your realm, your spectrum, and you can grow together and glow together. Yeah, that's right, grow and glow. And if I never told you, I like to share information. I have this little acronym for GLOW, and it's God living outside and within. God living outside and within. That's when you master peace and you begin to surpass the understanding. And like Dave was telling us, you know, if you come in peace, join me. And then Matthew said, if you are peacemakers, you shall be called. And my folks, the Hebrews, yeah, I'm talking about the people with melanin. That's right, me and you. Stop believing the lie. That's right, I'm talking to you. There was also a verse that it said, blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. It didn't say it starts later in the by and by. It said theirs is. Is a word that means it's happening now. But it happens here first and foremost. Then when you walk around, the storm is going on, but the fellowship that you are in protects you. Because you're not in the storm, the ship's in the storm. And guess who's driving the ship? The same one who is the God of peace. And that's what I love about this whole chronicle, how things are how they always overlap. And it's like if you master peace, and I never share this with a lot of people, especially who are trying to get back on a spiritual path and a true foundation of back to who we were as ancient Hebrew individuals walking without a Bible. Because folks, we were doing this way before they had a physical Bible. Think about that. Yeah, go see when the first Bible was printed, okay? Go watch the book of Eli again and realize the book of Eli was a Genesis. We're living in the Revelations. Well, that's a little something extra I want to share with you. But to bring the show to some type of closure, I don't watch much of the news, but I do skim enough on my phone to watch stories and see storms and what's happening with these people and the chaos and this person in the country and this person cross-dressing and the papers being found in this home and so on and so forth. And I'm watching all the dismay and I'm thinking, what's happening in our society? And it's like the people who are in control, they have organized chaos. Yeah, Outcasts, I know it's part of their group and then their name, But that's what's going on, and we have taken it as, oh, it'll be better later, or it'll be better, okay. But folks, it starts now with you and us beginning to take it here. When we first do it here, it starts, remember, outside. It starts within, and then it comes outside, okay? I'll share it to you like that, my bad. But there was a verse that really culminated what this whole entire message stands for and what it represents to you and I as far as mastering peace. And the brother Paul was talking again, and I just read a lot about him because I know he was a Hebrew who was catching Hebrews, and I'm like, whoa, he did a bad job. So he was basically an Uncle Tom who began and gave his life right, in so many words. But he wrote this, and he was talking to the brothers and sisters, and he said to watch out for those who cause divisions and obstacles. This is Romans 16, verse 17 through 20, by the way. I urge you, brothers and sisters, to watch out for those who cause division and put obstacles in your way that are contrary to the teaching you have learned. Keep away from them. For such people are not serving our Lord Christ, but their own appetites. I ran into a pastor this week, and he's doing his best to kind of feed the flock, but I asked him, is he serving himself or a purpose that he thinks is going to happen? He really believes in it, but they're using that book again, and it's like that book can mislead many people unless you have divine interpretation or persons who help you understand it. But when it goes back, it says, verse 18, for such people are not serving the Lord Christ with their own appetites, by smooth talk and flattery. They deceive the minds of naive people. I remember how many times the pastor talked about, well, yeah, I know y'all ain't going to read the Bible. Folks, that's what they were saying because they knew you were not going to do it, because you were going to wait on them. The naivety. Everyone has heard about your obedience, so I rejoice because of you. But I want you to be wise about what is good and innocent and about what is evil. Let me stop there because before I go to the end is even more impactful. But it says, be wise about that which is good and innocent about what is evil. And my uncle and I were sharing this week. He's one of my spiritual teachers. And what I shared was a focus that I've always done, and it's helped me. I know many things have happened negatively in my life and in yours. But rather than focus on the details and the hurt and the misunderstanding and the pain and the loss or whatever happened, the bad feelings that you carried for years, we have got to get to a point where we don't bring that into our forefront of our mind. We actually throw it out and take the moment that was good. Who we shared, what we shared, how we it was love without this. We needed to have money or we had to show somebody. We just had to be and exist. And it was there. And that's why with the brother Anzel, when I talked about him, it was just like when we started talking and we talked about the spirit in his new job, it was like it was there instantaneously and we both knew it. The next day we talked and he told me that he shared with me about somebody else, and I did likewise. And it was just that instantaneous, like we knew who we were as children of the Most High, and we only focus on what's good because he saw the dismay at the job, but he focused on what his goal is. And he didn't think about what's evil. He didn't think about, I might not be able to pay my bill. I might not. He didn't think about any of those things. And that's where we have to gain our foundation. And that's when you master peace. That's when you go through the storm knowing this will happen, but the master of peace will help me transcend it. That means you will go across it. It will not stop you. And that's why I love this show, because when you master peace, you become what you were intended to be from the beginning. A masterpiece. That's why I have my little chess table out, because I've been learning about becoming a masterpiece. And what led me to this whole chronicle was, in order for me to help us gain mastering peace, it has to be a central focus. For me, now I can kind of understand how to just jump into the spirit immediately wherever I am in any situation. I promise you, like it just boom, it transcends. I go there because I've learned to hold on to what I gained from mastering peace. But it started with a 7-year meditation. Yeah, we have to develop some type of routine. Whatever it is you do, you need to have a routine that you do and stay in at least for 2 years. You got to just, I won't know. No one else will know. Only you will know. And some of us, you may not be able to do what I'm going to share with you about my 7-year meditation, but find something simple and something practical where you gain some growth, some joy from doing it. There were these mantras that I knew that I'd start studying after my stroke, and it just kind of helped me to understand how to become at peace about what had happened and me trying to be a savior, me trying to save the world and become super uncle and all this other stuff. And I was like, nah. I realized that I had to master peace, so there were these meditations, and I wrote them down on paper, and I read them and studied them, and for the first 3 months, I kind of just recited them morning and night, 7 days, every day of the week, no matter what. And within about 6 months, I had learned to memorize it, so I started just being able to do them. So I did this when I moved, when I went to New York, whether I went to Virginia, whether I was in Tennessee coaching, no matter where I went to do my job for that day, those meditations were in function those 7 days a week, morning and night before I went to bed. No matter what I did, if I was inebriated or whatever, it had to happen. But for 7 years, it helped me out. So in the middle of the day when things would go crazy, rather than me focus on that event, I would go back to one of those mantras and remember what it was saying about who we are. And that's why I look forward to these times and opportunities when we get a chance to share, because when you get that focus, you can master peace. And when you master peace, everything else is fine. Everybody walks around and says, oh, I have peace, but found me. I walk in peace in the middle of the day. I don't care what's happening. I have to do things that I know I don't have to do over again, but for that time, it's a little difficult, but for that moment, the peace that's within me helps me go through it. And I'm like, it makes sense now. I want you to be able to establish yourself with that peace. And I want to say thank you all. Hopefully this chronicle didn't take you too long, but there's one other thing I'd like to share with you in order for you to master peace. And it comes from Isaiah. And when I looked at it, I thought about you and I. And if you are out there working on your spiritual, because I know there's some people out there who are doing things and that they stand up for what they believe in, like myself and you. When you stand up, you stand out. What do you mean? When you stand up, you stand out. When you have values and morals and things that you abide by, the people, you stand up for something that's higher than yourself. You will stand out. You will get persecuted on your job. You'll go through things that nobody else goes through. They'll be able to cut corners and you can't. You have to do it the right way, and you'll still get chastised or whatever they call on your job, appointed or whatever, because you transcend their understanding. They know you're supposed to go through these things like them. But when I realized that if I do this anyway, if I stand up and stand out and go through, I know I'm going to be blessed. And the verse of Isaiah said it all. It said, you were sold for nothing. I'm talking to you, my melanin people. Listen to this verse. You were sold for nothing. Take it from the coast of Africa, wherever you were from. Transcended or transatlantic slave, what the transatlantic route. You were whatever happened, you were sold for nothing. And without money, you will be redeemed. That's why I said masterpiece, because that redemption is now coming. And I need you to be a part of it, not a person who's lost because you're chasing after what they said was peace. No, these are the steps that hopefully together you and I can grow together, glow together, and be on the new earth, rocking out. It's coming soon, folks. Remember, you were sold for nothing. And without money, you will be redeemed. No reparations needed, folks. Without money, we are redeemed. Say it with me. We are redeemed. It's the Renaissance Chronicles. I love you folks. Let's rock out. Share this show. One love, one flow. One flock, one shepherd. One love.
Praises and continual thanks to everyone who shared in this moment of refreshing water, bringing life and light to our souls. This has been TRC, the Renaissance Chronicles, a hustle flow